No DQ Galaxy, we are live with a recap of Dynamite. Not just any Dynamite, but episode number 200 of AEW Dynamite. Shout out to everybody watching this, whether it's live or on demand. I very much appreciate your viewership and support. Now, let's get right into this Dynamite recap. We had the original set, the classic AEW Dynamite set with the two tunnels. We opened up the show with Chris Jericho and Takeshita against Danny Garcia and Sammy Guevara. Now, as Jericho was coming to the ring, footage was shown of the first Dynamite when the Inner Circle was formed, and then footage was shown from 2022 when the Jericho Appreciation Society was formed. Now, during this match, you had Garcia getting the best of Jericho. Jericho tagged out to Takeshita. Garcia was dancing around, and then Takeshita started dancing, and the crowd chanted, "You can't dance," at him. They worked over Garcia, and then Sammy Guevara got the hot tag. Sammy hit the frog splash on Takeshita, but Jericho broke up the pin, and then Garcia tagged back in. Sammy Guevara hit the shooting star press to Takeshita on the floor, but then Don Callis hit Garcia with Floyd, the baseball bat, while the referee was distracted. Chris Jericho saw this happen. He hesitated, but ultimately he took advantage. He covered Garcia and got the 1-2-3 victory. Backstage, Daddy Magic was not happy. He told Jericho there is going to be a mandatory JAS meeting on next week's Dynamite. We had AEW President Tony Khan backstage. He was talking. He did not blink. I don't think he blinked, but he did introduce a video package celebrating 200 episodes of Dynamite. Very nice little video package here, showcasing all of the great moments in the show. Even Cody Rhodes got featured a little bit. We had clips from the pandemic. Very well done. Then we had Tony Schiavone introducing the FTW Champion Jack Perry. Perry grabbed the microphone, called out ECW legend Jerry Lynn. Lynn came out there but said he's not going to be cleared to wrestle, but he did contact somebody who is still wrestling, a good friend of his, and of course, it was the one and the only Rob Van Dam, making his very first Dynamite appearance ever. WWE Hall of Famer, showing up in AEW to his old ECW music, Walk by Pantera. Big pop, of course, for RVD. They chanted ECW. He got in the ring. Jack Perry took a hike, but then he snuck back in the ring with a steel chair and attempted to use it. Unsuccessful. RVD saw him coming, and Perry got out of dodge. Now, Caleb Jacobs sent in a $3.76 super chat. Thank you for that, Caleb. He said, "I give this show 5 stars. Hint, hint." Oh, you're making a reference to Dave Meltzer? Oh, no, RVD, 5-star frog splash. Got it, Caleb. Thank you for that. Much appreciated. Now, backstage, RVD was interviewed by Renee Paquette, and he issued a challenge not for All In, and the rumor was that it was going to be All In. There was a rumor that RVD would be showing up in AEW, and he did, but there was talk about All In. Instead, RVD versus Jack Perry will be taking place on next week's Dynamite. which is interesting. I'm a little surprised they're not doing it for All In, unless maybe RVD just doesn't want to travel overseas. Like, keep in mind, that's a long plane flight. And RVD performing in front of 80,000 people, he's done it, been there, done it. Maybe he just doesn't want to travel, but he said he would do a match on Dynamite. Who knows? Maybe they'll do something else with RVD at All In. FTW title, I mean, is there really room for the FTW title on a major show like All In? I'm not sure. That is next week, though. RVD will be wrestling, and we'll see what happens. We had an Anything Goes match. Jon Moxley versus Penta versus Trent. Fun match here. Lots of weapons being used. They were brawling all over the place. Moxley had a barbed wire board, and you know Moxley loves his violence. He was using this board on these guys. Trent ended up giving Moxley a superplex through the tables on the outside that were set up. At some point, Trent was busted open from, I think, the barbed wire board. And then later in the match, Jon Moxley got out the thumbtacks and started using them. He slammed Penta on the tacks, but then Trent turned the tide and slammed Moxley on the thumbtacks. Penta broke up the pin. All three of them were trading shots. Moxley DDT'd Penta on the tacks, and Penta's shirt was ripped off, by the way, to make sure he got the brunt of the punishment. But Trent ended up stealing the pin from Moxley. Trent got the win, and they actually had a good reason for Trent winning. When this match ended, I'm like, why is Trent going over here? But after the match was over, you had the rest of the Blackpool Combat Club showing up, but then Orange Cassidy and Chuck Taylor showed up to even the odds. Orange punch to Moxley, and then Chuck issued a challenge. Best Friends versus BCC at Daly's place in a parking lot fight, which was a memorable match in AEW during the pandemic. They did that parking lot brawl. You had Trent's mom, Sue, with the SUV. So, yeah, they're going to be doing that match at Daly's place this Friday on Rampage. Now, the question is, will people tune in for that match? We'll have to see if that match was a big enough draw for people that they'll tune into Rampage for. Time will tell on that one. But, yeah, they're doing something for Rampage. I'll give them that. And because Trent picked up the win here, now you actually have some heat here with these guys, and it actually made sense. We got a parking lot brawl. Like, if Trent lost, then why would I want to see them in a parking lot brawl? But there you go. Trent won, and now BCC needs to try and get some revenge. We had MJF come into the ring for a promo coming off him and Adam Cole losing to FTR on Collision. MJF wanted to have a heart-to-heart talk with everyone. He brought up having ADD, having emotional issues. He was bullied, cheated on, abused, battered, beaten, all these things. And that led him to grow up believing that everyone was an evil scumbag. And he decided to stab people in the back before they could stab him in the back. And he finally realized that that's no way to live, because he ended up becoming what he hated. He became a scumbag himself. And he said that getting people to boo him is easy. What's hard is being vulnerable. He said that he's not scared anymore. He said that the people have proven that they care about Max the person. They got sympathy for the devil. And he's not just a scumbag, but he is the people's scumbag. And the crowd chanted, scumbag at him because he is their scumbag. He is our scumbag. And this was a total babyface promo by MJF. He said he's not going to change overnight. He's still a scumbag. And he's ready to be their scumbag. And he said one person made him see all of this, and that's when he brought out Adam Cole, baby, to the ring. Adam Cole came in the ring, said MJF is not alone. And MJF is now becoming the man he is meant to be. Cole said that people now know that deep down, there's a good guy in MJF. And MJF responded by saying he appreciates the verbal fellatio, but he made a promise, and that is the AEW World Championship match. But he said that Cole doesn't deserve a match. Crowd booed at this point, but MJF said that Cole doesn't deserve a match, not just any match. What Cole actually deserves is the match, and that is the main event at AEW All In. He had a contract. He gave it to Adam Cole. Crowd was still skeptical. They were chanting, read it. He seemed to have signed that contract very quickly, and now people are wondering, was there some kind of catch here? Cole signed the contract, said he loves MJF. They hugged, and literally 5 seconds later, a graphic appeared on the screen. They're very quick. These production people in AEW, they got the graphics all ready to go as if they knew this was coming. Crazy. Or they just work very fast. It is official. And by the way, All In is going to be on pay-per-view. It's not going to be streaming on one of the platforms, whatever it is. I can't even think of the name of it. But yeah, you'll have to order it in the United States on Bleacher Report or Fight TV internationally. Same thing with All Out. They're going to be doing 2 pay-per-views back-to-back weeks. That's a lot, like $50 a pop. That's asking a lot. I know AEW fans are very loyal, but how many people will buy not 1, but 2 pay-per-views within a week of each other? It's a bold move for sure. I thought that they were going to have this match be on the streaming service, which I cannot. Oh, it's Max. Max is the streaming service I was thinking of. I thought for sure they were going to put it on the streaming service just to try and get as many eyeballs watching this as possible. But no, they're doing it on pay-per-view. And yeah, it's a bold move. In the era of Peacock, you can watch a $9.99 pay-per-view. It's asking a lot. The shows are going to be great, but that's a lot to ask for. I think it's a great main event. I mean, I'm definitely looking forward to this match. It's going to be a great one, but yeah, that's a lot of money for people. Now, we do have a few super chats here. Walter Cruz, Mr. Reliable, sent in a $2 super chat, says, MJF captivated me. Hell of a promo. Love it. I agree, man. MJF on point as usual. He does such a fantastic job. He knows how to hit all of the right notes when it comes to these promos. I'm very intrigued now about where this is going. I should note that we had Roderick Strong backstage, and he was throwing a fit. He was throwing things, and you had Mike Bennett and that other guy show up. I'm not sure his name, but I guess they were aligned in Ring of Honor. I would not know, but yeah, something's going on here with Roderick Strong. They're definitely building up to something. I'm thinking it might happen. Maybe it's going to be Adam Cole that turns heel. I want to see that now, and maybe have the I hope Mike Bennett's not involved, but like if Kyle O'Reilly can return and they can bring back Bobby Fish and have the Undisputed Elite reunited, MJF as a babyface on the chase, Cole becomes champion, I think that would be a very intriguing storyline. And yeah, people are talking about the pay-per-views. They should really do like a bundle deal where you get half off one of the shows, like something. I mean, that would make a difference for some people, I think. Like if it was $75 for 2 pay-per-views, that's still a lot, but I think that would be a nice gesture to fans and showing some goodwill if you offer a discount for both shows. Building Nexus with a $2 super chat. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. Says, Adam Cole should win the title with help from Don Callis. Quite frankly, I would be fine with that. But at the same time, I think this would be a great opportunity to get the band back together and reunite the Undisputed Era, Undisputed Elite, whatever you want to call them, as heels in AEW and have MJF go after them. Like, you could do that, but Don Callis has his own thing going on with Jericho right now. I don't think you need to really get him involved in this Adam Cole storyline. We had the Elite, who just re-signed with AEW. They have new contracts, so they're not going anywhere. No WWE run for Kenny Omega or Adam Page for that matter, or the Young Bucks. They are sticking around, and they had a trios match against Team Jarrett, Jeff Jarrett, Jay Lethal, and Satnam Singh. When was the last time Singh wrestled on Dynamite, if ever? I cannot even remember the last time I saw this guy wrestle. Maybe he had a match on Rampage, and I missed that for obvious reasons. I just don't really watch Rampage. But yeah, he was in this match, and Singh actually got physically involved, and the Bucks were trying to take him down, but he ended up taking both of them down with a crossbody. And after the commercial break, they were triple teaming him. V-Trigger finally got him down, but then Karen Jarrett got on the apron. She interfered, and you had Sanjay Dutt taking a cheap shot at Omega, but then Brandon Cutler sprayed Karen Jarrett with whatever that substance is he has, the hairspray, whatever the hell it is. The Hardys, Jeff Hardy and Matt Hardy showed up to help take care of Sanjay Dutt. Jeff Hardy took him down with Twist of Fate. Welcome back to Dynamite, Jeff. I guess he's been promoted after being demoted following that DUI arrest. Jarrett tried to use his guitar, but Hangman Adam Page showed up, buckshot lariat to Jarrett, and then Kenny Omega finished off Lethal with the one-winged angel. Pretty entertaining match here, and afterwards we got a post-match promo just confirming that they re-signed, and then Kenny Omega said they're going to be around now, whether it's on Dynamite or Rampage or Ring of Honor, and he said, heck, even Collision. A little tease there. Omega, you teasing us now? You better deliver on something. That's all I got to say. I still think they need to book that match. Like, if it was Kenny Omega versus CM Punk at All In, I'm game for whatever price they want to charge. Like, I think Virtue of No DQ Review would buy All In if it was CM Punk versus Kenny Omega. I want to see that. Like, I would love if they actually did a trios match. If they did Omega and the Bucks against CM Punk and FTR, and then they could do the tag match FTR versus Young Bucks at All Out and CM Punk versus Omega at All Out in Chicago. That would be hot. If they did that, I think you're selling both of those pay-per-views at $50 a pop. Like, that would be huge. But I don't think they're going to do it. I really don't. I think it's probably going to be Punk versus MJF at All Out, which I think is the next best thing. Like, that's going to be a great match. I absolutely think they should do that. And it definitely seems they're going in that direction with CM Punk having the X title now, the Twitter title, as some people are calling it. We had Swerve Strickland and AR Fox invading the home of Nick Wayne. They went into his garage where he has his ring set up, and they beat the crap out of him. They busted him open, and then they called up Darby Allin, and they were pissed. Swerve brought up how Darby did not do anything to help AR Fox get in AEW, and they resent that, and they're just getting started. So they're definitely building some heat here, and they even had like a photo of Nick Wayne with his dad. So yeah, Swerve and AR Fox building up the heat here. And yeah, it was an interesting segment. It was something different for sure. We had Aussie Open versus Vikingo and Commander for the Ring of Honor tag team titles. This was a good match, although I have to say, didn't really care about it too much. Like, it was filler. Funny enough, it was in the women's time slot, the 9:15 to 9:30 spot. I just don't care about the Ring of Honor tag team titles. Match was entertaining, though. Vikingo and Commander, like, they were trying to do some dives. They got caught, and they were slammed into each other. But then after the break, they started doing some stereo moves. They did like a double springboard moonsault to the outside at the same time. And then they both did a 450 splash at the same time. But the champs were able to recover, got the 1-2-3 victory, still your champs. And then we had our main event, which was the women's match, the AEW Women's Championship on the line. Toni Storm versus Hikaru Shida. Now, Shida was the champion during the pandemic, and they really hammered this home, which might have been a giveaway as to how this was going to play out. And especially when they put this in the main event spot, I thought like either Shida's winning the title or they have something planned, like a big debut or return or something at the end. Like, the fact that they would put this at the end had to mean something. Like, they're just not going to do the usual match, outcast, cheat to win, and then the show goes off the air. Like, they're ending this on a high note. Otherwise, why are they putting this match in the main event spot? So, the alarm bells went off. Something's going on here. Toni Storm fled to the outside, trying to slow down Shida's momentum, and she did get the upper hand. Outcasts were doing their usual interference during this match. After the break, Shida started to make a comeback. She came off the top with a Meteora, but Toni kicked out of it. And then Ruby Soho was getting involved. Shida kept fighting. They were going back and forth here. Shida hit a Falcon Arrow. Toni kicked out again. And then Saraya slid a kendo stick into the ring. Shida got it. She was going to use it, but she would have been DQ'd. And Toni was even daring her to use it. Shida decided to hit Ruby and Saraya instead. Toni then, as the referee was trying to get rid of the kendo stick, Toni spray painted Shida, hit the Storm Zero, but Shida kicked out. Big kick out here, and then Toni went for another pin, but Shida reversed the momentum and got the 1-2-3 victory to regain the AEW Women's Championship. Big celebration. The streamers went off, and huge moment for her. And you have to feel good for her because she was the champion during the pandemic when you had limited fans in the building. She got this win here in front of a pretty good-sized crowd, well-lit crowd this week. Definitely a better look for AEW than some weeks. And yeah, you had the 200 sign in the crowd as the show was going off the air, and Shida was holding up the title. Really well done. The women got the spotlight this week, and it was a nice sign that maybe they're gonna give a reboot to the women's division here finally, and maybe give them some higher profile matches. We'll see. Time will tell. I mean, it's possible that next week we're back to where we were before, and they're just at 9:15, 9:30, and Shida barely appears on TV as champion. Like, we'll have to wait and see where they go from here. But this was a big moment for the women's division. Shida is once again champion, and all in all, it was a very good Dynamite. I mean, I thoroughly enjoyed it. Good segments. We finally got a match, at least one match. It's the match, but it is something. Some cool segments here. Video package for episode 200. I'm going with an A-. I was leaning towards a B+, but with the ending, I'm bumping it up. A-. Really strong Dynamite show, 200 episodes, and looking forward to MJF and Adam Cole. I think maybe I was hoping for one or two more matches to be confirmed. One match is good. It's a start, but you got to really get going here. And remember, you got 2 pay-per-views, not 1, but 2 now you're trying to sell to everybody. You got to really have a great game plan here. I'm telling you, CM Punk versus Kenny Omega, Young Bucks versus FTR for one show, trios match for the other. That could solve your problems right there, but I'll believe it when I see it. I don't think that's going to happen. So thank you all so much for tuning in tonight. I very much appreciate it. Lots of content coming up. The ladies of No DQ are returning for their own SummerSlam predictions video. No DQ CAW is returning. It's going to be a big weekend here with SummerSlam. Please spread the word. Tell a friend about NoDQ.com. Have them check out this channel. Your feedback is appreciated too. Leave a comment. Let me know your thoughts on Dynamite. Let me know your thoughts on this live stream. Have a great rest of your week, everyone. Take care. And remember, say yes to NoDQ.com. And I will see you all next time.